I'm sorry, okay if I interrupt you for a minute?
Sure.
You did a beautiful job with that. And it's so important to me, in my mind anyway. I'm not on. I think I am now. So important what you said, and this topic is so important, and I thank you for doing what you just did. There's another element to what he's talking about, which is how we as a community deal with loss. And we haven't done a very good job of it, at least in the last 30 years, which is it's become this shameful thing in our community. And so we don't talk about it. And we, if we're friends, we sort of shrink away from it. Friends of the person who lost, you know, it's like a family member died and we're just not gonna, you know, sometimes good friends will say, look, anyone would have lost that case, it wasn't winnable, good for you for trying, that's great. But, you know, there's a background noise in the community, which is the leaders of the bar are not talking about losing cases. And so everybody starts to think it's this shameful thing because nobody's talking about it. And the result is fewer and fewer people go to trial. And again, I know to some of you, I'm sounding like a broken record, but we're trying to turn back a tide and change a cultural attitude that's pretty deeply ingrained at this point. And I would urge all of you, you know, I don't have an answer other than talking about it, pointing it out. We as a community are treating it as something to be ashamed of when you take a case to trial. You know, what do? We second guess. Well, Nick, come on, you got in late. Anybody knows you don't come in late in a trial like that. Oh, you didn't have the right expert. Everybody knows you need a, pick your expert. Everybody knows you need one of those experts, or you had too many experts, or you didn't do the reptile argument right. You know, that's the problem. That's why you didn't win, or your rules of the road were all screwed up. You know, we're all second guessing. The only one person who took responsibility for taking that case into the trial, who took the responsibility to learn all the facts, to take the calculated risks that everybody has to take to go to trial. And then we're a bunch of Monday morning quarterback, backseat driver, second guessers. And I think, you know, it's not all schadenfreude. It's also, we're scared, negative attribution. We want to say, well, that'll never happen to me. I wouldn't have been stupid enough to do what he did. I would have done it differently. We've got a certain insecurity. And we want to show everybody how smart we are. You know, the people who don't go to trial all that much want to show what great trial lawyers they are by critiquing the people who actually are going to trial. And so all I'm going to suggest to us as a community is maybe we ought to start re-examining how we treat, you know, in our own minds, how we process other people's losses, and how we address them, that it's okay to talk about them. And also, I mean, there were times, this is a little before my time, but I've heard about it, people wouldn't talk about cancer. You know, it was considered this shameful, scary thing, so nobody talked about it, right? And, you know, we can all think of other things that have been shameful in our culture. It didn't used to, that's the weird thing, it didn't used to be shameful to lose a case. That's a relatively recent development. And, you know, I could go on all night about it. I'm not going to, but I thought it is so important for the health of our community. Because if they've shamed us. They've shamed us on tort reform. They've shamed us on what we do for a living, which is another topic. They've shamed us they've shamed us about losing so that fewer and fewer people go to trial. So who do you think benefits from that? So thank you for letting me interrupt.
Thank you.